So friends, here's my list of 7 Gameloft superhero games that are now completely lost in time. Let's get started with game number 7, Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 was launched exclusively for mobile platforms, that is for Android, iOS, and even for Java OS-based phones. Now on the side of Android and iOS versions, the game features an endless runner-style gameplay mechanic, where players can take control of the Iron Suit and fly over various locations, use the Iron Suit's weapons, and dodge objects to take down several enemies and bosses and complete your missions. You can either use the on-screen touch controls or the gyro controls to move Iron Man. The game has a lot of Iron Suits to choose from, with many upgrades and customizations to be made. But on the Java version side, the game was totally different. The Java version of Iron Man 3 is a side-scrolling action game, with a proper story mode given there. But sadly, Gameloft took down all these versions of Iron Man 3 long ago. Game number 6, Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. Yes, this game is based on the movie Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, the third movie in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. Batman: The Dark Knight Rises movie game was launched exclusively on mobile devices. Apart from the Android and iOS versions, The Dark Knight Rises also have several other versions made for Symbian phones and Java OS-based phones. Batman: The Dark Knight Rises is basically the perfect alternative of the Batman Arkham game series for mobile devices. Unfortunately, this game is no longer purchasable from any digital mobile storefront. There's even no way to run the legit version of the game nowadays if you already have one on today's modern devices, since the game is normally not compatible with modern Android and iOS versions. And due to the lack of support from both the audience and the company, the one and only Batman AAA mobile game is now gone and lost forever in some void. Now in game number 5, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Yes, another movie-titled game. This game is based on the second Captain America MCU film. Well, to be honest, I don't remember much about this game, but the main thing I remembered is that you can literally play this game without tilting your phone in landscape mode. The game screen says, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the official game, but that does not mean this is some kind of AAA game or something like that. The story mode in this game has some comical style of storytelling, which feels that the game is trying to keep itself far away from establishing itself as any kind of movie-based title. You know, we got many other Gameloft AAA games from various genres before Captain America 2. So, my brain can't process why they chose not to make this Captain America movie game a worthy AAA mobile title. This is really out of my mind. But hey, you can no longer play it. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So, yeah, it no longer exists. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the official game, was released only for Android and iOS devices. And yeah, with that, let's move to game number 4, which is The Avengers. Yeah friends, if you were thinking that, then yes, here's another superhero movie-based mobile game, released exclusively by Gameloft. Anyways, The Avengers is a cool side-scroller action-packed superhero game, where you can play as Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and even Thor. It was launched exclusively for Symbian and Java-oriented platforms, and later, it was also ported to Android devices. You cannot freely select any superhero, as each of the heroes has their own missions to follow, which leads to the 1v1 boss fight against Loki. I still think, what if we ever got an official version of this game for Android and iOS? Man, that would have been so cool. The Avengers mobile game was released for some first-party mobile app stores, if I'm not wrong. However, it never made its way to Google Play Store. But still, finding this game officially is a big headache today. Now, let's move to game number 3. Here we have Ultimate Spider-Man Total Mayhem HD. Last time I played this game back in 2020, I think, on my old Android device. This Spider-Man game is an absolute blast, so I had to cover it here. Ultimate Spider-Man Total Mayhem HD is probably the only Spider-Man mobile game where the spider web gets attached directly to any street light or any other appropriate objects from the surroundings. Even though the web swinging in this game is very limited, it was still very much fun to traverse from one area to another. You can also switch between the classic red-blue suit and the black symbiote suit. Both the suits have their own powers and combat moves. Speaking about the combat system, it is fun, considering the year it was released on Android and iOS platforms. It had a numerous number of villains to play against. This is my favorite Spider-Man AAA mobile game of all time. This is a very special superhero game that existed on smartphones ever. Game number 2, Thor: The Dark World.
And decimate your foes with the mighty power of the gods.
Man, this game was something else at that time. Even though we never had a AAA solo Thor game on PC, but instead, we had this. This game is based on the second Thor MCU movie, although the game never felt it was based on an actual movie. Yes, I would not consider it as a AAA game, as the game didn't have that level of quality in my opinion. Thor 2: The Dark World, the official game, yeah, could have been much better than this, with proper third-person 360 camera controls. But even though the game was still amazing, considering its time of release. On the other side, it also has a decent storyline with different worlds to play into. With a variety of enemy types, the combat system did something a bit different. You could either use the on-screen buttons, or you could also tap on the enemy and use several gestures to defeat them with your special abilities. You could even switch to several other in-game costumes. Thor: The Dark World was launched on iOS and Android, including Symbian and Java OS phones, and that's as a mobile exclusive. Even though it was a movie title, Gameloft did a great job developing a good action-packed Thor mobile game. And finally, here on game number 1, we have the legendary Marvel's Spider-Man Unlimited. This game was probably the most famous Spider-Man mobile game back in the mid-20s era. It seemed like Spider-Man Unlimited was very much inspired by Temple Run and Subway Surfers. With that inspiration, Gameloft further added more advanced features and implemented them into the gameplay. You can easily play the game with one hand only. It was the first Spider-Man mobile game that introduced us to the multiverse, or should I say, Spider-Verse. Literally, there were thousands of Spideys that you could recruit using spider portals. There were 6 bosses in the main story, and you could get to fight with other bosses in online events, like Thanos. Spider-Man Unlimited was launched exclusively for Android, iOS, and also for Windows phones. Yeah, remember that era of Windows phones? Aw man, those were the good times. Unfortunately, Spider-Man Unlimited got delisted back in March 31, 2019. And since the game was mostly tied to its online services, and due to the lack of compatibility issues, you can no longer play the game officially on modern devices. But hey, if you still have your older Android device, running on Android 11, or any below version, down to Android KitKat, or iOS version 14, then yes, you can play Spider-Man Unlimited officially, if you already have it in your store's library. If you ever installed the game, even for once, when it was available on the digital stores, then yes, I already made a video long ago on how you can still install the game officially from the storefront. Yes, I know that there's a new community version of the game out there, created by Spidey Hub. But that's a different story overall. And rest, I want to appreciate all these 7 Gameloft games that I've just mentioned, for their unique and awesome soundtracks, and cool menu screens. I really miss these games and other Gameloft games a lot. Yes, most of these superhero games made by Gameloft are movie-based titles, so I picked them up randomly to maintain some variety. It feels sad that these awesome Gameloft games are no longer available to purchase. It's been years I played these 7 games and finished them numerous times. This is illegal that we can no longer access these games even if we bought them from App Store and Play Store. That's a topic for another video. But anyways, with all that being said, let me know friends if you have played any of these games before, and thanks for watching the video. I will see you later. See ya!